The Humanised Daleks were created during the events of the Evil of the Daleks, as a side effect of the Emperor Dalek's plan to discover the human factor, as well as the Dalek factor by contrast, and use this pure distilled essence of each species to its advantage. The Emperor tasked the Second Doctor with discovering the human factor, claiming that it wanted to infuse the factor into the Daleks to make them more deadly. However, the Emperor's true plan was to use the Doctor's work to discover the Dalek factor and use the Doctor's TARDIS to spread it throughout history, to ensure Dalek domination of the solar system. As part of this plot, the Emperor assigned several test Daleks to the Doctor's laboratory, which were to be used as part of his research into transferring the human factor to another organism. In the process, 3 humanised Daleks were created, which the Doctor named Alpha, Beta, and Omega. These humanised Daleks acted totally differently to regular Daleks, appearing passive, inquisitive, childlike and playful. Crucially, they lacked obedience to the Dalek Emperor, and the Doctor was able to turn the Daleks' plan against them by sabotaging the equipment to ensure that any Daleks that got near were infected with the human factor. This created a brand new offshoot of the Dalek race, a rapidly growing army of humanised Daleks who were quickly identified and attacked by the non-infected Daleks, particularly the higher-ranking elite guard in the Emperor's throne room, when they questioned orders and refused to obey. A civil war subsequently broke out on Skaro, and the humanised Daleks quickly gained the upper hand, rushing the Emperor's throne room and destroying his casing with concentrated fire. At the time, the Doctor believed that this civil war would be the final end of the Daleks. Indeed, it set them back considerably, as their capital city was devastated, the throne room was severely damaged, and the Emperor was presumed dead, and this caused a significant shift in Dalek doctrine, including a complete redesign of their standard warrior casing. The humanised Daleks were able to flee Skaro in a captured saucer, and what remained of the Dalek Empire came to believe that they had wiped out the rebels and ceased pursuit. Dalek Alpha, who took up leadership of the humanised Daleks, donned a red casing and led his brethren to the planet Chiral. There they founded the subterranean city of Azra Kor, which was located beneath the planet's oceans. There, the humanised Daleks built a society, making art, meditating, and developing the psychic abilities latent in all Daleks. Eventually, humans colonised the planet, but the humanised Daleks vowed to not reveal themselves and kept their city in complete seclusion. This was exacerbated when a human submarine was disabled by a mysterious electromagnetic pulse near their city, and the humanised Daleks intervened to save the human survivors. The survivors aboard the submarine, which included the 8th Doctor, were told by the humanised Daleks that they could never again leave the city, and the Doctor gave Dalek Alpha his word on the matter. However, the Doctor later broke his promise, leaving the city in an attempt to contact humans on the surface. To make matters worse, an even greater conspiracy was at play. An ancient Chirolian, Cataphobus, had secretly manipulated events behind the scenes. He had sent Dalek Alpha a psychic vision of Chiral to lure the humanised Daleks to the planet, so that Cataphobus could harvest their psychic energy and use its power to wipe out the humans. In protest, the humanised Daleks chose to self-destruct at the critical moment in Cataphobus's feeding cycle. This destroyed the creature and saved the humans, but at the cost of destroying every humanised Dalek on the planet, including Dalek Alpha. The 8th Doctor was distraught at the loss of these Daleks, not least because of the fact that he had broken his promise to Dalek Alpha. The humans were saved, but an entire colony of peaceful Daleks, possibly the only one of its kind in existence, was destroyed forever. Before the destruction of their city, the humanised Daleks had their own culture and society, totally distinct from that of other Daleks. They had names, such as Makith, second in command to Alpha, or Adelis, the scientist. The casings of these Daleks varied in colour, with varieties including blue Daleks, green Daleks, yellow Daleks, and purple Daleks. Another stark contrast to standard Daleks was the fact that most humanised Daleks lacked a gunstick, instead using only their manipulator arm. Only high-ranking humanised Daleks and the Blue Security Services used gunsticks, and only for defence. Despite the fact that the destruction of the humanised Daleks seemed absolute, there is a small possibility that some humanised Daleks may have survived. The exact whereabouts of Dalek Omega following the events of the Evil of the Daleks are not clear, as while Dalek Beta appeared to follow Dalek Alpha with the other humanised Daleks, Dalek Omega was not seen again. What do you think of the humanised Daleks? Have you read Children of the Revolution, the comic in which this story is elaborated on? Do you think that there could still be some humanised Daleks out there, such as Dalek Omega or perhaps others? Let me know in the comments below.
Don't forget to click below to subscribe to
Dalek Bumps.